Everyone likes to be deceived, but have you ever deceived yourself? That's something we'll be discussing this week.
This is Make Better Wealth Decisions, a podcast about financial blind spots, decision-making, and how the reality of higher rates, global tensions, and tariff instability impact your investments. I'm your host, John DeGuy, a portfolio manager with Design Securities in Toronto.
On Thursday, we had a conversation with Mark Robinson. Mark is the author of a book talking about how we might be deceiving ourselves in our decision-making. And oftentimes his perspective is one of managers doing a poor job of managing people because they do a poor job of getting to the root of what it is that they're really trying to accomplish. Well, bad leaders and bad managers and bad investors have a lot in common. A lot of what they have in common is not so much that they're being deceived by others or by sales pitches or by misleading advertising, but they are misled by themselves because they tend to have overconfidence and they tend to find ways to rationalize their decision-making in order to protect their ego. In other words, a lot of people, whether they know it or not, engage in self-sabotage and deceive themselves in the process. They will find ways to make a decision that feels good, that's good for their ego, that will allow them to save face with regard to their friends and maybe with regard to their spouse regarding their portfolio. What did I do? Why did I do it? And they will make a decision that they think is right at the time. And then for whatever reason, that decision turns out to be suboptimal. It might not be awful, but it might not be as good as you thought it was going to be. And then they find a way to come back after the fact and say, well, it's because of X. So having the inclination to make emotional decisions and then to rationalize them afterward is a human condition. We pretty much all do it. As the saying goes, people who rationalize tell rational lies. And oftentimes we tell rational lies to ourselves in order to make ourselves feel better about decisions we made that we might not be altogether proud of in retrospect. A lot of us are overconfident. A lot of us think that we can do better than we actually will because we're hardwired to believe that we are better than we actually are. And we have this selective memory where we remember our victories, but for whatever reason, don't remember mistakes that we made in the past. And as a result of our inability to reliably remember mistakes that we made in the past, we repeat them. And then we have to feel even more guilty down the road because now we have to explain to ourselves not only why you made a mistake, but why you made a mistake yet again. So a lot of what we do is we will avoid ugly truths, inconvenient truths, and we will instead tell ourselves comforting lies as a means of rationalizing our behavior in order to save face with ourselves, with our friends. This is a major consideration in investing. So much of investing is about behavior, about controlling your emotions, about being reflective, about being accurate in your own self-assessment. You can stop, sit back, think about the decisions you're making and make them in a purposeful manner so that you can make better wealth decisions.
This podcast is not to be construed as offering specific investment advice. Please consult a qualified advisor before acting. My books, Stand Up to the Financial Services Industry and Bullshift, are available online. If you'd like to meet to discuss how the topics in this podcast affect you directly, please visit my website.